Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our coverage of Ascent. And my name is Justin, aka Cyberwaste, and I'm joined by Game Sprite. A good evening to you. How do you do?
Hello. Bad. Just, waiting for all this to sort out, so fun.
Yeah, we're having a little bit of difficulties in the opening map, but we will be starting on Lijiang Tower to open, and I have been informed by the members of the lobby that we will be observing a moment's silence for the events that took place in Christchurch earlier today. So we will be doing that and then moving on with festivities. Thank you very much.
Five, four, three, two, one. Round one. Capture the objective.
Always leave yourself a back door.
What the? Um, this was actually like observing. Continue that in game. Was or and I believe someone's actually they got okay now.
Yeah, I was about to say, but yeah, I can't believe
Oh dear. Okay.
they just ran out. Like it was stated.
What?
Yeah. At least we're restarting the match, so hopefully we can redo that moment of silence without everyone just charging out into the field. But to be fair, it was quite briefly mentioned before the match started.
The right place for that, and both of the teams have exchanged apologies. So once again, we're going to have one full minute. As soon as the game actually starts and the gates go down, we will be observing a minute's silence for the events in Christchurch.
Yeah.
Ready for battle.
Such potential.
Five, four, three, two, one. Round one. Capture the objective. The objective is now active.
we are very much for observing finals. Viridity and GG and has come on the far getting rid of Crab Attack, and that's a very crucial piece of the puzzle taken out very early on, and that total definitely made an very early on.
Yeah, running the farmers is gonna be a bit interesting, especially with the goats that we've got going on. So there's not exactly much countering happening so far. This far, getting a run around by the diva going on here. The hammer down this field got blocked by the shield. And I believe they're popping the rally. Yeah, I think so. Husky's got his sights up. And the res on insanity popping.
And Viridity is holding. And despite the ultimate going out from GGG, it's not really proving to bear much fruit, and they're running out of claw themselves back on Night Market. I don't know what's...
Yeah, it seems like gang held quite strongly here.
Did someone call a doctor?
Although whoever Ice managed to get off the they seem to be planning to do. Yeah.
And that's pretty much just wanted for on the Night Market from Viridity. That went good from bell to bell.
Yeah, the point managed to switch back and forth a bit there, but in the end, Bruce managed to have a bit of a better hold. Although GGG seemed to be still wanting to run the far... Oh, nope, switching over to the main up.
5, 4, 3,
The Trolls Center definitely
capture the objective.
come on the
Always leave yourself a back door.
really want to keep the distance.
He's already on the point, swing for 9-9.
Ready for battle.
It's a golden question of who's good stronger.
Get in there.
Point of contention for blood. We got
Yeah, now just the cleanup now on Brady's end.
attack of GGG on the red side got completely shut down. Hang on, I have to reboot Discord.
Brady's now pushing quite far forward, trying to hold at their chokes at the entrance to the building. Not many picks happening though. Although Viridity does have the advantage with all their ults.
Looking for me.
Into the iris.
GGG, now popping. Everyone's popping a trend. But blocking the grab with the wall was quite smart on GG's end, but didn't end up doing much to protect them.
Be right back.
Viridity's still holding quite far forward. But with the point hitting 7%, GGG really need to try making a move. Shit, there seems to be keeping an eye on in the background for Viridity. Wall much used to be used side of the May ult though. And that's a no. Ooh, quite a big grab though, but no one to really back it up. And with that, Yuzhang is over. Viridity wins.
Play of the game.
Not very much GGG were able to do there. No one was able to really push through the tight grasp that Viridity had at the front of their spawn.
As they
A lot
get
of ults
stuck in,
being
as soon as they get stuck in like that, it is extremely difficult to break that, especially if they're a well-rounded team and a well-oiled machine. And it's really tough to basically shatter.
Yeah, it just seemed that GG just couldn't get any follow up on most of their ults. Like there was a grab there that no one was really around to sort of take advantage of, and same with the May ult as well.
And that is exactly why Viridity are one map up. And just to remind you, this is a first to 3 set, and I don't think Sprite and myself actually went through the map pool, so we'll get to doing that now. And just to remind you, the losing team gets the choice of maps. So GGG has the choice between Dorado and Rialto,
and it seems like they've just picked Dorado.
Ooh,
Okay. So that's going to be an interesting one. Good high grounds on that. Take advantage of it.
Yeah, and it's a bit of a change because as of late in higher echelons of Overwatch, we've been seeing a lot more of Rialto as opposed to Dorado.
A lot of people really like the cheeky boop you can get off at that first bridge, it seems. Not to mention just the general playing field of Rialto is a lot more hazardous compared to Dorado.
It's a lot higher risk and reward. There's been plenty of times of using the environment to your advantage, either, like you said, with boops or with the halt ability that Orisa has. Especially when the map first came out, there was plenty of those types of plays going on.
Meanwhile, with Dorado, it's a lot more... There's a lot more sideways of going around everything, and a lot more high ground to try to take advantage of. It'll definitely be interesting to see what each runs.
And it looks like me personally, I've got those issues sorted out, and you might be able to hear me in crystal clear, high-ish definition, and that will be wonderful.
Yeah, I can hear you now. I'm not all by my lonesome.
Hey, you. And apologies for
Floundering a little bit.
you did fine. And to give a little bit of context, this is actually Game Sprite's casting debut.
So be brutal, like honestly, be brutal in chat. I'll probably be going over this stream in my own free time to sort of see where I can improve. I definitely feel a lot better though having you here, Cyber. So just to have someone to talk to if ever.
it's a lot easier to cast Overwatch with 2 people as opposed to 1. And I've been there and done that for many a game, and it's a lot more difficult than people make it out to be. But either way, we have the gates now. We have a little bit more of a dive-centric comp on the attacking side
Yeah.
of GGG. You see Turtle once again on the far up, proved to be extremely strong in the opening break, and already getting a big frag.
Sanity making a very insane move at diving in there without any backup.
That might be a true testament to that name, and Reshade just turned Turtle Senpai into a shade of grey, dropping the fire like a stone. So this might be the attack called off in the opening gab for GGG. They will have to recoil and rethink their next plan of it.
Yeah, just slightly pushing it forward, but trying to hold back a little bit, waiting for Turtles to get back. Especially smurfing on the Mercies, staying quite far back. Although probably gonna jump up to the fire in a second.
More likely, and Asukama being one of the long range damage dealers getting taken out. It seems the GGG respawns are a little bit out of sync now as the Valkyrie comes out from smurfing to keep everybody topped up and in the fight. Keep an eye on Turtle, almost having the barrage at the ready. Actually does now, depending on where the Farah ends up being positioned. It could be extremely valuable because there is a fire actually. Better Name will have to be on point in blocking the barrage when it comes.
Yeah, the going question is, given the geography of Dorado, are they going to go behind and try to get a sneaky barrage?
That might be the cue with Insanity obliterating Reshade, and with Overeat's being ejected, did get one, but
Yeah,
Albino will
got
use
the
the
Ren.
mind to dispel.
Insanity popping the Winston up there.
Albino with
And
the
Alberno.
retire, running over Smurfing. A little bit of a back and forth effect.
Everyone rushing over on the Viridity side, trying to get to the payload as quick as possible, but everyone's spawn seems to be a little bit delayed.
Avery's getting Albino just as he stepped out, which could be a little bit unfortunate, and Turtle will take out Sandshark's legs with the rocket, so that will be the first point, almost assuredly done and dusted for
Viridity's-
GGG, and it took a while, but they got.
Viridity swapped over to more of a dive comp now with the Winston now instead of a Orisa before.
Perhaps wanting to try and mirror what the attackers are doing and not being as rigid, being a little bit more fluent in terms of the way that they move, especially like you say with the Winston on deck. There could be a duel between Insanity and Bow and Arrow.
And Karma was trying to get a few sneaky picks there. Didn't exactly escape shared sights though.
Definitely not. And Asukama wanted to try and do it, but was not all that successful. Valkyrie comes out from smurfing, but the Farah's usual right hand is gone. Turtle Senpai will be bettered by Albino and their rockets. And Smurfing's doing their best to try and keep the rest of the squad up, but has been forced to retreat. There is the self-destruct from Better Name. Did end up claiming Insanity, but that was via the Pulse Pistol, I believe. And that
Yeah,
is...
self-destruct from both sides there.
Yeah, self-destruct in stereo. Did not claim all that much. Sandshark ejects a race. And it looks like the defense is trying to hold strong outside of the... I always want to call it a church, but I don't think it's it.
Like mother?
But Reshade will almost assuredly make sure this card stays put.
I think it's a courthouse, but
It is a courthouse. I was blanking on what it actually is. I always used to call it a church until I got corrected by it. And
Ready though got the advantage on the side of Alts, although GGG is about to catch up a little bit.
And GGG might actually elect to take a dry run or get a big pick. That'll work too. Asukama will turn Crab attack to scrap, and Albino will avenge him. The Resurrect does come out from Sandshark on a Crab attack, and then the Valkyrie did follow after that. Valkyrie coming
Turtle
out.
attempt.
Turtle gets one, but ends up being dealt with. Well, 1.5, you could say, without Maurice ejecting a better name from their mech.
Yeah.
A full-blown scrap on the point
Smurfing
now.
pulling out the Valkyrie, trying to keep the team alive during this push.
Let me get you, Pat.
This could be one of their last chances too, with 1 minute and 15 left on the clock. And Smurfing
They are
has
managing to push
given
quite a bit.
yeah, they're given both of the more mobile tanks, being the Diva and the Winston, a lot more room to move, and Viridity has to respect that. But keep an eye on the barrage on Albino. We're down to 1 minute. Self-destruct did not claim any.
Self-destructs.
Yep, self-destruct in stereo. Both of them do not
There's
claim any.
Albino. Oh, but the trance was popped and they were knocked out of the sky.
Yeah, that's really
That's
the
unfortunate.
worst. That's really unfortunate, especially when that damage gets negated. And the feeds look at a very pretty shade of blue, and this could pretty much be the call from GGG to retreat and back up for one last fight. If the Diva of Avarice gets staggered, this could be extremely brutal.
They need to try to make their way to the payload as quick as possible there. Otherwise, it'll be quite a relatively shorter push for Varsity. Verity, when it comes out.
And Avarice did end up claiming Sand Shock, but I'd say the frag was worth it to basically force things into OT, and now it is GGG's last stand to keep this payload alive. There is the
Crab
Transcendence from
Crab
Crab Attack to keep everybody up. The Fire is now gone, thanks to Reshade. Reshade's claimed the Mercy part of Pharmacy as well, and now it'll
Just
only
a Lucio on
be
point.
moving in on
Yep.
moving in single file, and it should pretty much be. That's it, thanks for coming. There is the ejection of Avarice and the pilot sure to follow. It's just under the bridge. That is where the cart will stay, and it'll be up to Viridity to match.
Score
You don't really see
to 1.
the cart getting stopped around there in Draw, at least in my games I never do.
Usually not directly under the bridge. You might see it a
Yeah.
little bit further towards the entry
Yeah.
to America, like around the actual courtyard, not under the bridge. So that's actually extremely interesting. It might be a little bit of a pressure point for the now defenders to actually get a grip on, because you have a lot less room to play with as opposed to having a far more open point of defense, being the main gate to the main courtyard before the Merico plant.
Exactly, it does kind of block off dive quite a bit because of the bridge being in the way. There's not exactly much room for Winston's to jump around everywhere. Although it does seem like Blue's going to go for some dive as well, which, the plus side, no goats.
Nah, I'm glad I haven't had to bleed, because A, it sounds awful, and B, I'm pretty sure I've exhausted all of my references to goats and the groups thereof. So, while I can appreciate the intricacies of a fully fledged goats comp, I'm pretty sure as a spectator, for some people, it's like, can we move along, please?
Yeah,
it might be getting a bit long of the tooth.
Yeah, at least with dive, there's quite a bit more you can sort of do. You can... There's several ways you can try to run dive, but goat just very, very solid on it.
Yeah, well, it's been
shit,
hanging
getting
around
the,
for a while.
Karma shot.
Reshade obliterating both Husky Karma and Turtle Senpai. That's two big frags, and that is the damage deal to the defense. But if one of the tanks goes down, this could be quite tragic. And actually, Albino is getting fragged early on, so that's one reply.
They're pushing the cart quite fast, especially comparative to GGG's run. It took them quite a bit just to get to here.
It took them about a minute and a half, and they matched it in 30 seconds. But just like before, the carts started just past the entry to the courtyard near the fountain. So GGG can definitely get stuck in here. And this has actually been quite a common point of stalling as of late on Dorado. So this could be done by GGG, but they basically have to play They basically have to play this perfectly.
It is a very finicky thing to try to get the stall, especially at this entrance. But if you can get the steam ball rolling, it's quite easy to try to sustain it. Especially with a shatter
dear.
like that, although no one capitalized on it.
And that got basically nullified by being put to bed. Sorry, Insanity. You're gonna have to go night. And Insanity gets up. It gets extremely angry. Bow and arrow is no longer a part of the fight. Sandshark follows suit thanks to the sonic arrows. And this defense is holding strong, but they have had to throw a little bit at it. And looking at the ultimates on this side of Viridity, they're definitely loaded for bear and really want to go, but Albino getting staggered a little bit.
Yes, especially with the blade he's got up his sleeve.
I'm expecting a nano blade. I'm expecting a nano blade, as a matter of fact. But I'm not really so sure about Viridity walking in single file like this. But I guess if you can bait out a couple of ultimates, both the Impresight and the sound barrier ended up going out for GGG.
Yeah, I think Smurfing just fat fingered his ult, especially given what I just said in chat of lost. So
yeah,
that's not going to be good.
That's a high value ult, especially given what could be coming in for the side of GGG. Husky Llama is down and out. There is the Transcendence from the Zanyada on the defense. Actually keeps everybody up with a big shatter. The big Dragon Blade to follow. And
everyone in the grab just needs someone to funnel up on it.
And looking at Albino, yeah, it was well and truly worth it to bank up all the ultimates. They knew that they had the time on their side, and that was pretty much that. They threw a lot at it. The only ultimate that was not expended, which was the self-destruct, but hey, it worked. And we do have a pause here.
Albino did just pretty much save his entire team, considering most of them were caught up in a grav. But because he killed everyone, there was nothing to follow up on, so it was quite a good play.
Yeah, well, I think it's just perhaps capitalizing on inexperience or the lack of knowledge or the lack of of things. And it looks like we've had a couple of members drop from the game. We've had Reshade and another member.
We've had Reshade and Crab Attack, who's
yeah, and it was Reshade and Better Name, which had dropped. And
my apologies, I've read the wrong name.
No, it's all good. Taking a note of the log here, and it looks like because Better Name and Reshade do live together. That's actually something that I did not know, and is an interesting little bit of a factor. Having people in a team that can actually sort of sit next to each other and coach each other.
It really helps with the synergy, especially if they play heroes that work quite well together. It would benefit their team play quite a lot.
It gives a new layer to playing together as a team, because it is a huge part of Overwatch. Not through individual efforts like there is at other shooters. It's a much more team-based game. If everybody's working together and is in sync with each other, they can run like a really menacing machine, and we've seen that time and again through all tiers of competitive Overwatch.
I think we've. Oh, never mind.
No, we've had someone get the Australian internet treatment, which is
always feels great.
Yeah, always fun and a little bit of a hiccup. But now that we do have a little bit of time, Game Sprite, given this is your first rodeo behind the caster's mic, and give yourself a brief introduction and let yourself known out to the people that are watching.
God, not really much to say. I'm just a weird Irish chick who likes to play Mercy and healers a lot. That's pretty much me, in a nutshell. I mean, I do stream, but yeah.
And remember, people, always tip your healers, because they're the lifeblood. They're the lifeblood of your team.
Joy of being a solo queue healer.
Both of them.
I wake up in cold sweats in the middle of the night just hearing, I need healing.
Just the it never changes. There were older games where I used to play supports as well and playing as medic, and you'd always hear say a more mobile class that would just like they've been tagged for 1 HP and they're like I need healing. Come on, doc, come on, man, and that type of deal. It never changes. It never changes.
I have a friend who's just recently started playing a lot of Genji, and anytime I play with him,
Oh no, I could.
he is the biggest troll and will just non-stop come up to me and just go, "You need healing."
Oh no! I'm all too familiar with that type of escapade. Not kind of fun until to the point where it goes past endearing, and then it's just like, dude, seriously, stop it.
Well, I don't know what I prefer, him spamming that or him using a soundboard to sound like Jeff Kaplan. It's either or.
Either or. So we're getting an update of the two members that had left the game, which is Better Name and actually I've forgotten now. Reshade and Better Name, who had dropped from the game, and they're in it. Apparently, their internet is not having a fun time, and now it'll be a good time to insert the obligatory NBN rant and how bad it is. But that is a thing for another time, and I'm pretty sure you may have heard verbatim elsewhere. And we'll start the jukebox up. We'll put on some tunes in the interim, and we'll be waiting for the two members to return. You're watching Ascent on AOE Sports, joined by me, Cyberwaste, and my co-caster Game Sprite. We shall return very soon. Good evening and welcome back. We're continuing Dorado, and we do thank you for your patience, but we have had the members tagged out for a little bit while they got their internet issues sorted. So Knockgriff and Lord Lol55 are now in the fray for the attacking side of Viridity. Once again joined by Sprite. Good evening.
Good evening. Yeah, Viridity suffered the terrible issue of Australian internet.
It is a cruel and unfeeling thing, but it looks like we've gotten
mistress.
things sorted. Cruel mistress, you know that all too well. And Crab Attack got taken out on a bit of a flank by Smurfing and the Sonic Blast, and Sandshark just got volleyed on and got an arrow right in the face, so that is not fun. So
GG just let Freddy get quite a lot of push room there.
Yeah, that might actually be to their detriment, because if you remember where the cart's final resting place is situated, it's just past the bridge that leads to the Lamerico plant. But looking at the current position, it's right outside of the courthouse, so they'll be fine. But look at Albino on the flank, and gets a trade between him and Turtle Senpai. So, in the grand scheme, that will favour the attackers.
But unfortunately for GGG, they've let Reddy push quite a bit farther, and now they're under the bridge.
Yeah, it could be extremely awkward, especially with the bubble going down and blocking that shadow. There is the primal range from bow and arrow, and he's been focusing out hard. He's down into 200 HP or less. There is the Dragon Strike to try and stem the tide. Lord Lol is down and out. Albino is the only member to reply on the attackers. Knockgriff does join that join the frag count, but
Knockgriff slowly backing away, trying to regroup with everyone.
Albino is still watching over the defenders, just trying to keep them honest, and now has finally found out. But not a lot of ults are on the side of Viridity, so they might either go in for a dry run or go in on the back of that. There is a big pair of frags there from Bow and Arrow and Albino. So now it is a 4 versus 6. The Graviton Surge does catch a couple, but not a lot of frags go off on the back of that. Sandshark does go down though, so Senpai does get a trade. Does get a trade, and Lolo did lose his legs with the Earth Shatter and ends up being obliterated. And Bow and Arrow still letting the hammer fly, and
now giving a lot of wiggle room here.
This might be to their detriment, giving all this room. And if Albino can claim it like that will be the ticket in. And that was exactly what happened. Viridity, after a bit of an elongated pause and dealing with Australian internet and its wrath, they end up going 2-0 up in the series.
Yeah, even with the issues that were plaguing the team during the internet crisis there, they were still managed to push through. To be fair though, GGG did give them quite a lot of wiggle room for their pushes, which not exactly a good idea whenever Viridity have proven they're quite good in that sort of comp.
And especially if your defense is so scattered, and you know that the payload is actually getting quite close to that box, it's to the detriment more often than not to give up all that ground. And well, that was basically a mantra of that in the last seconds of Dorado there. So Viridity are now 2-0 up, and GGG have to fight for their lives on the next map that they get to choose.
What map they're gonna pick though?
They have the choice between, I remember seeing Temple of Anubis and blanking on what the other one is, but it would probably be
it was Temple and Hanamura.
Temple and Hanamura. I was thinking Volskaya for some reason, but that's because it was on the backdrop on my screen. So
yeah, believe it or not, for me it's Hanamura.
Well, that's fitting then. But in in the past seeing these members play. Not these teams exactly, but I have seen a few of these members play at other teams and in other competitions. We more than likely will see Hanamura. Temple of Anubis doesn't really get as much play, but obviously GGG has the final say in that.
Oh, whoops.
And everyone's having Discord issues. I'm personally having them this evening, and looks like the captain is having their own as well. So it's been fun. So yeah, we do have Hanamura and Temple of Anubis for uh, the next map, and GGG will get to choose.
Hopefully this time they're going to be able to pick a map that they can truly dominate on. At the moment, they're 2 down on points here, so
Yeah,
they need to do something.
They really have to put their backs into it, and they're fighting for a reverse sweep. Because just to reiterate, this is a first to 3 series, not a best of 5. Because we do know that some of these map types can have the potential to draw, like the map that we are going into, the assault discipline and the hybrid discipline can actually tie as well. And we do have a map that we can go to should that situation arise. We go to Oasis if we do end up in a tie. We have to determine a winner. We're just waiting for things to figure themselves out and for the team to make their choice. So we will bring the jukebox back. We'll go to a brief intermission. We shall return very shortly. You're watching Ascent on AOE Sports with myself and Sprite. Good evening, and we are back with more Ascent action. And Sprite, my friend, we are traveling to the beautiful surrounds and tranquility of Hanamura for our next map.
Honestly, my favorite map, just because of how pretty it is and how much you can, especially on the first point, control the enemy team with Symmetra, personally.
You don't see it nearly as often, even after her rework. She's proven to be potent, but not in the highly tiered competitive scene.
Exactly, it's why no one expects it.
Yeah, well, we've seen it work before for Order in Australia Contenders, so maybe we'll see something similar. Yeah, that was on Temple of Anubis, but my point still stands.
Ready for battle.
Looks like we won't be seeing it here.
Sadly not. But we do see the May. So we do see
See some shaking up.
It's going to be getting a little bit cold here, and it's going to be extremely interesting because you did mention the opening point, and especially walling off the main entrance with May can prove to be quite the big get if the members that are walled off are like high value targets, which in this case would be, say, Husky Karma on the Diva, Avarice on the Brigitte, and we might even see Insanity go down if they end up getting walled off. So that'll be the big aim for Viridity in the opening game. But the gates are open, and GGG are on the attack, and we don't see anything out of the ordinary here. Just sticking to what works.
Get through this.
There's pushing right to the right-hand side there. And immediately there's the wall, separating most of the team from the healers. Quite good.
Oh dear, that caused a lot of hurt. And, well, Reshade will be
Insanity
extremely...
getting bullied.
Just stretched. You saw the kill feed. That was a 4-person assist. Just absolutely say, yeah, don't step on our turf. But Viridity and Reshade just bringing the cold shoulder to the opening attack there. And Total Senpai is definitely adapting to this and wanting to sort of nullify that wall with the Farah and the Mercy in tow. And, well, if you can go through the middle, it's going to be essentially useless.
Oh, no, and he missed. Oh, no, missed the Lucio, unfortunately. And that wall didn't cut many people off.
No, but did still get Insanity, and there is the big Earth Shatter from Bow and Arrow. They're not only going to take arrows to the knees, they're going to take hammers and get themselves broken and shattered. And Viridity are going to hold strong. Despite the opening phrase going towards the side of GGG, it was barely enough.
Apologies to all Skyrim guards watching if that triggered you.
No, I'm pretty sure that they're used to it. They're just like, really? You're still doing that?
Again?
Yeah, we're not going to let you live that down. Husky Karma has actually moved towards the Widow, so really want to keep the defense at an arm's length, and I'm really curious as to who will be the first to fall by their hand. There is the rally going up from Better Name, and that'll definitely help on this next attack. And keep an eye on Reshade, the next wall off. The wall did go up, did not bear as much fruit as you probably would have wanted. So
there's Karma trying to get the Zen again.
Looks like Avarice did get it. Avarice did get ejected, and even with a small chink of the armor as that, with Avarice being sent out of their mech, it could be the cue to retreat unless Avarice does get the mech back quickly. There was the Earth Shatter. Didn't look like it actually claimed anyone. There is the Snowball wanting to get things a little bit cool, and that's definitely done the same for Insanity being dropped out of the fight. Avarice ejected and probably run over.
We have Karma though trying to sneak around back here, but getting chased by the Zen and Lucio. But not very much being done.
No, Karma's been found out.
Yep.
Has the Discord orb and being just run out of town, and that stretch, that stagger is going to be rough. And if you're GGG, you'd be at panic stations. You've got 1 minute and barely anything to show for it. Husky Karma's changed over to the Sombra. It's definitely the right call, but might be a bit late for it. But we'll see how.
And everyone's going into the small room to the right of the point.
Into the Room of Doom. And we've seen many a team fight go down there, but the Brigitte brought extremely...
At least GGG have managed to actually, get past choke. Although we're getting a sneaky Sombra back cap here with a chick already.
Not quite there. They did get a third though, so that is a good get.
At least they got something, so they have a little bit of time to defend.
Well, that's a guarantee. That's like a guaranteed condition. Sure, it's just over a third. Like it's a pipsqueak over.
Turtle trying to sneak on the point just to try to get overtime though. Don't think it's gonna work much.
Reshade does eradicate Total Senpai, so this potential recontest to be one person down, and it doesn't end up happening.
No joke. The Lucio for GGG was a step away from point as the timer went down. That feels bad.
And so was Insanity getting knocked away by Sandshock at the end. Sandshock feeling a little bit confident after that. You can't really blame him. He's been doing his part. So now the win condition is simple for the now attackers, is to get 35.8%. I was going to say 33 to third, add some change, but with 35.8%, capture the point for that long, and it will be a 3-0 series for this evening.
And with how they've been playing so far this evening, it does seem like that's quite likely to happen, unfortunately, for a GGG. But it's just looking at the track record so far, it's going to be a hard hold for them. Although they're going to be running turtles on the mech, so they're going to try to run that. A bit more of a bunker comp though, of Insanity.
Oh, they're gonna get stuck in. Look at their composition. We have the Orisa, we have the Bastion, we have the Zarya. If the Zarya gets a high charge, that particle cannon is going to hurt a lot. But
Very, very much so. Personally, though, if it was me playing, I would of course have a Symmetra, just to add to the little extra bit of cancer going on the point.
No, you do it on attack just to rub it in because you're feeling extremely confident. And Viridity, I do not blame them in the least. The gates are now down, and
we're holding here on the point, though.
Yeah, they've dug in on the point, not moving to the high ground, which is on the right-hand side, which is more traditional. This could either catch Viridity off guard, or it could collapse extremely quickly.
I mean, what's concerning me is we've already seen what happens when Viridity gets a lot of, wiggle room to move around. I mean, it's what happened on Rado. They were giving too much room to come up.
Yeah, and Albino's actually changed after the Genji too. We see the Bastion getting the love and treatment from the Mercy, and actually has been forced to move away extremely early. So Viridity, although they haven't gotten progress on the point yet, they're definitely making it difficult for the defense to stay still.
Right, yeah. And considering the fact that Baronim's running a Diva, that's going to give the Bastion quite a bit of a run for money.
Yeah, but they did get did force Reshade to hit the deck, so that's definitely kept them on their toes on the attacking side of Viridity, and definitely making it not. And
are they going to make?
How did bow and arrow actually go down? I didn't even notice.
I was focusing on Baronim getting bullied.
Yeah, and it looks like Sandshark's shoving off his Lucio serve skills. And Reshade actually got rid of Husky Llama and then uses the Resurrect, so...
Yeah, we got Resurrect on the Bastion, which is never fun.
No, especially after all that work. But Sandshark was up for a while, but then just got railed down by Husky Comet. So, a good shot from GGG, but keep an eye on Reshade as the Sombra. Definitely making a note, and note that EMP. As soon as the EMP goes off, if it gets enough people, we could call this defense done and dusted.
Oh yeah, especially with how close this bunker comp normally has to play, the EMP is definitely going to be quite devastating if it's able to get off.
And Reshade's on the move in now. The defense is mostly surrounding the point and the bell in the middle. Reshade waiting for the moment. Husky and Karma definitely feeling the presence of Reshade, which is wise. There is the EMP that does claim 3, but did not get the healer. There is the Transcendence to keep everyone, but Avarice did not stay up for long enough. Husky Karma does go down at the blade of Albino, and now looking at it, it's
only hacked and nigh dying.
And as soon as the Mercy is done, that is pretty much it. Sure, Snowball did go down to try and freeze everybody, but that will be it. The May is eradicated, and it's looking good night, everybody, from Viridity. It is a 3-0 series sweep.
It was a nice attempt from GGG, but once again, with a team like Viridity, you can't give them too much room to sort of do what they want. If they manage to sit around the point quite a bit for most of the match, and were just able to plot what they wanted to do, because they weren't really getting contested at the choke, where if they were, they would have been held off quite a bit longer, especially with the bunker comp.
But it's basically been a master class from the team in question. It was your 3-0 series victors for Ascent this evening. And do you have any parting words, Sprite? How was your first cast?
Well, nerve-wracking to say the least, but I hopefully did okay so far, like towards the end there. Just trying to sort of, feel my way about, slightly blind, but hopefully it went okay.
And this is how great careers start. Sometimes that's how first casts go. But I'd say for first time you have passed with flying colors. So
Thank you.
So with that, Viridity are your victors, 3 maps to 0, and now I think we will do our final goodbyes. Sprite, do you have any any people to shout out, and whereabouts can we actually find you on the wide internet world?
The only place to really find me is on my Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/GameSprite. I'm trying to stream a lot more regularly now that I have the capacity to do so. So be sure if you want a random Irish person screaming in your ears to follow me there.
And she's got a nice accent, so that really, really helps. So go and follow her and give her all the support that you can muster. But either way, that is where our Ascent coverage will conclude for this evening. My name has been Justin, aka Subwest. My co-caster has been Sprite in her maiden voyage. My producer has been Pinky. Good night, happy fragging, and be the best hero you can be.